Hello everybody, welcome back to the table. Today we're taking a look at a new California legal auto I just picked up. This one right here comes from Buck Knives, and this is the Buck Mini Deploy. And so I really do love this robust design, so we're going to compare this California legal auto to some other ones that I'm going to have on the table in a minute. But let's take a closer look at the Mini Deploy itself. This version right here, you can see the coloration. It is a two-tone knife, and we can see that the handles here, these are aluminum handles, and they are a burnt bronze Cerakote. So it's kind of this darkish brown, almost green color to it. And what really drew me to this version of the knife, though, is the blade color, because we can see the blade is also Cerakoted, and it almost looks like a pebbled texture. I really do like the texture on the blade. This is another Cerakote texture. This is called the tungsten color. So I really do like the kind of, it looks like almost like a blasted finish, you know? But overall, this knife right here is super robust for a California legal auto. This has got to be the beefiest one that I own so far, which I really do like. So of course the blade right here, this is a sub 2-inch blade. It is 154 cm steel with the Boss heat treat, which means that it's going to be performing very well. Buck Knives, they're kind of known for their heat treat on their blades, and they generally work very well in hard use. The front side of the blade right here, of course, we have the Buck USA logo, and I'm guessing that's the model number right there, the 839. But what's really nice about this knife, again, the thickness of it, it's very, what I would call heavy duty, because as a category, California legal autos range from the diminutive to the overbuilt. And so let me give you a real quick example. This right here is the GT Knives California legal auto, and just look at those side to side. Look at how dinky this one is. I mean, again, they were going for really small, really lightweight, but these are both the same category of knives, but you can see one was built with, you know, heavy use, hard use in mind, and one was built for not that purpose. I mean, just this overall size, even though they're both general same blade cutting edge, it's just a night and day difference in terms of size here. So I just felt I wanted to make that real quick comparison. And that's kind of what I think Buck is doing really well entering this category. And in fact, Buck is one of the latest knife companies to enter that California legal auto market. I think almost every major manufacturer has kind of dipped their toes in this category so far. I mean, the only one maybe off the top of my head I can't think of right now would maybe be Spyderco. But who knows what's in the cards there. I mean, even later this year, Benchmade's going to be coming out with another California legal auto. And so I'll be picking that one up too as soon as I see it available. But again, this right here, let's take a look at the dimensions. So overall length, let's check it out. I'm just going to roughly hold it up to the ruler. We're looking a little bit over 5.5 inches. If you're looking at the end of the pocket clip right there. And of course the blade is going to come in sub 2 inches. And looking at the pocket clip itself, this is a nice deep carry design. And it looks to me, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks totally reversible. You can see the cutout right here. So right or left hand side carry, tip up. It should be able to accommodate you either way. It goes smoothly in and out of pocket. The smooth surface on the handles right here help with that. And of course the smooth surface, if you're looking for super textury grip, you're not going to get that here. It's not slippery or anything, but it is overall a beefy handle. And even without the texture, there's no jimping. I feel that it's going to work well in the field. I have no doubt that it's going to be easy to keep a grip on this knife. And being one of the chunkier California legal autos that I own, it actually weighs quite a bit for this category. So this knife weighs in at 3.25 ounces. And so that is one of the heavier California legal autos. It actually might be the heaviest. I was weighing them all a few minutes ago. Some come close, but just due to the overall size, because of the aluminum scales, we have steel liners. You can see right in here. I mean, that does add up to weight. And now 3.25 ounces is not a lot. So for any category of knife, that's not bad at all. But I did feel like I had to mention that. I wanted to share that with you. But we can make a few quick comparisons because I own quite a few knives in this category of these California legal autos. So we'll compare it to some other side openers. One of the first ones I thought of when I saw the Mini Deploy here was my Hogue. This is the Hogue micro switch. And so you can see the Hogue is a little bit longer because it has this integrated bottle opener feature. But in terms of overall thickness and design, very, very similar. Of course, you can see the blade shape is different, but they do offer this in a regular drop point too. I just was going flavorful with this color and blade style on the Hogue. So from the top view, we can see the push button autos. One thing that we don't have on the Buck, of course, you'll see there's no safety. You know, so for some that may be important, for some maybe not. Pushing it down on the table, it's not going to open because the button is nicely recessed. So I don't think that'll be an issue for anybody. But this is the Hogue micro switch. We also have one of the newer SOG knives. This is their California Special, the Tanto version. And again, a little bit longer because they were focusing on handle length here. But again, you can see a side-by-side comparison, both deep carry, both aluminum handles. Of course, Tanto blade versus drop point blade, just generic black coating versus Cerakote. You know, take a look at the thickness. The SOG or SOG comes in a bit thinner because it's skipping those steel liners, but still very comparable. Definitely a different type of auto. This one here is almost more like a Benchmade style opener where you pull it back instead of push button. But that is a SOG California legal. Really the thing that I would compare this to most. So let's say you really like the look of this knife, but you just can't swing the price because the price is over $100 at this point. It's a brand new model made in the USA. Your best alternative, in my opinion, is going to be right here. This is the Boker Stubby Strike. And so look side by side at the size of these two knives. I mean, it is very, very similar. Both get that nice drop point. Both have a deep carry pocket clip option. Both are heavy duty aluminum handles. The Stubby Strike even has this texture on there, but take a look at the thickness. Very, very similar overall. So these knives even weigh very similar. They both are almost exactly the same weight, 3.25 ounces. I think this might have been 3.24, but definitely within a margin of error. So if you cannot afford this one, or for whatever reason, the Buck Mini Deploy is out of your reach, go for the Boker Stubby Strike. They are both super solid knives, both push button autos. The Stubby Strike even comes with a safety, you know, so that's always a bonus. But very strong spring on this one. I felt like I had to pull it out for the table for this comparison. But if you want to spend a little bit more or around the same amount, honestly, a brand I always recommend for these California legal knives is Protech. So this right here is the Runt 5. So we can see those side by side. This is one of the newer Runts they've released. A little bit smaller in overall length, but just as solid. Very, very smooth. And in fact, the smoothest autos I own are all Protechs. They just, whatever extra step they take to make these knives super smooth and fun out of the box, they go that route. So taking a look side by side, thickness is also similar. Full aluminum handles versus aluminum and steel. But yeah, so very, very comparable. Very, very nice. You can't go wrong with a Protech. If you buy a Protech anything, you're going to walk away a happy customer. Maybe one more quick one. This is also a budget knife. So if you can't afford anything on the table and even the Stubby Strike is out of your range, this right here is another Boker, the Sub Kalashnikov. And these I think are an exclusive line to Blade Ops. About $30 or less on sale. But side by side, check those out. May not look super comparable in terms of handle size, but the Stubby Strike, man, there's just so much they have going on here. They have a lot of different colors, a lot of blade steel options for this one. So very, very worth it if you absolutely have to have a side opener and you have to, you know, spend as little as possible. So out of what we have here on the table, I believe these two and maybe the SOG, I don't know if this is made in the US. I'll assume it's imported. So these three are imported. The Protech and the Hogue are USA production. The Buck is USA production. And for a lot of us out there, that matters. So really, really nice fit and finish on this knife. If I had to gripe about anything, let's see. Straight out of the box, the grinds on the bevel are not super even from side to side, but that's very nitpicky. The blade is still sharp, so no issues there. I haven't adjusted the pivot at all, but there is a little bit of side to side, microscopic amount, and I'm sure I could tighten that down if I wanted to. But when it comes to side opening autos, The side to side is sometimes there, and if you tighten it down, you might lose some of that springiness in the action. So it's really up to you. How much speed do you want versus having it, bank vault solid? But as it is out of the box, I think it's more than usable. And I think anyone opening this up will be surprised, like, oh my gosh, this is a nice beefy knife, really impressive. The packaging the knife came in was very nicely done. Came with a little black pouch, of course, just in the basic buck box. All very impressive. So I would really recommend the Mini Deploy. I'm glad I picked it up for my collection. So it's one more USA made auto that I have to show off and compare for future videos. But if you have any questions about this knife, the Buck Mini Deploy, or anything you've seen on the table, or anything else you might want to see it compared up against, feel free to drop me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. But I hope you all have a nice day, everybody. See you later.